British comedy. It's considered by many to be some of the best entertainment in the world, with films and shows such as Shaun of the Dead, Blackadder and Monty Python being thought of as some of the best, most well-written, funny things on the planet. But there are some not so good things. No, it's not the Americans this time. I'm of course referring to Little Britain. Little Britain was a catchphrase comedy sketch show from the mid-2000s. It starred Matt Lucas and David Walliams, whom each portrayed various different comedic characters in sketches taking place all over the UK. Now, I'm not going to say it was the worst thing in the world. There are plenty of worse shows. But it just hasn't aged well. Its humour was mostly based off of cheap laughs at the expense of marginalised groups. Overweight people, the LGBT, the poor, etc. Now, why am I telling you about some random British comedy from 2004, you might be asking? Good question. It's because somebody thought that this should be a thing! Sometimes, you just have to ask why. And who? Who thought this would work? What part of Little Britain lends itself to the world of video games? There's no action, so a platformer was off the menu. There was no overarching narrative, so a story-based game was never going to happen. This just feels like the worst possible idea to adapt into a video game. Look at this cover, a plain background, the logo, and just 3 random characters slapped on in an attempt to fill the void of creative emptiness. They even made the age rating comically oversized to try and fill this thing up. This is seriously giving WWF In Your House a run for its money on the shit game cover front. But at least with that game, you sort of knew what to expect. You know, wrestling. But with this, I can't even imagine what we're in for. So let's take a look. So the game starts up, and I'm actually pleased to find that Tom Baker is the narrator.
Britain, 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 cultural capital of the world. The Sistine Chapel, British. Mozart's Requiem, British. The Great Wall of China, British. But none of that stuff would ever have been invented were it not for the people of Britain. The men, the women, the boys, the girls, and the monkey children that populate this well-fit country. Let's have it!
Oh, Jesus Christ. Even the menu's as blank as the cover. There was more colour on Hoth, for fuck's sake. So are these the levels? Only one way to find out.
Yeah, but new, but yeah, but go!
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to...
Oh, what the fuck is this? So as you can see, you play as Vicky Pollard, the teenage mum character. This level has you collecting CDs on roller skates. Makes sense to me. I don't really know what I was expecting. I mean, the joke with Vicky's character was that she was a chavvy teenage mother who slagged people off a lot. Where the hell did you get the idea to rip off Tony Hawk from? Wait, hang on. I recognise this image of her in roller skates. Yeah, it was from like a single sketch. A sketch which showed she clearly didn't know how to use them. So how do you go from her pretending to know how to skate to...
Awesomely radical, dude!
So the objective of this level is to accumulate enough points after completing 2 laps on the course. Points are given when you pick up a CD or perform what the game thinks a trick is. Simply fill up the meter, hit a ramp, mash some buttons and...
Oh my god!
No. This looks bad, but I can tell you it plays worse than it looks. And it looks pretty... The game is essentially one of those obstacle course affairs where you move your character to different paths and avoid things in your way. Only instead of it being a fast and responsive experience, it feels like you're slogging waist deep in water. And this camera angle is a little bit ridiculous. I mean, sure, you can at least see what's coming, but the way that it fucks with your depth perception means you just can't properly prepare to avoid things.
No, but yeah, but no, but yeah, but I did totally meant to do that actually, if you don't mind, if you didn't even know.
Could you please shut the fuck up? Okay, now we just need to get to the end. Hurry up, come on. No! Fuck! time up. Time up. Does this mean I have to do it again? Damn fucking right it does. Finally beat this course. What's my reward? Oh, clips from the show. Well, this would be really good, except it isn't funny. Up next is Andy and Lou's stage. These guys were sort of the mascots of the show, their joke being that Andy didn't really need his wheelchair and would get out of it when his carer Lou wasn't looking. Oh, wouldn't you know it, this level is based off of a specific sketch. Well, at least they appear to be following the gag properly this time. Now, the object here is to accumulate points by doing tricks. Fuck it. Now, how do you think you walk in this minigame? What do you think the developers decided would be the best way for the player to control the character? The D-pad? The analog stick? Don't be silly, you tap X! This is gameplay, everybody! Oh, and these sound effects. Masterful. After going through that, I certainly want to jump off of something. Let's just get this over with.
Horrendous.
Oh, hey, Little Britain. Ocarina of Time called. They said they want their fucking water back! Okay, so I failed the first time. I didn't know what I was doing. Let's just try again. This time, I'm gonna jump when the meter is right at the top.
Andy, how did you get up there?
I fell.
Oh, what a kerfuffle.
Alright. Do the tricks. I fucking hate it and it's shit. So with my thumb now broken from mashing X, I finally complete the level. What's the payoff?
Have you showered?
This is boring. Wanna go home?
I thought you said you liked diving.
You know.
And then we're treated to another clip from the show. It isn't funny. Next, we're on to Marjories Level. She ran a weight loss group. The joke is she's fat. There, now you've seen every single sketch with her. Her level is...
I like cake.
Tetris. It's obviously Tetris. Alright, jokes aside, it's clearly Pac-Man. But you know, a shit version. The biggest issue here is that the screen is zoomed in, making it near impossible to avoid enemies. And when you're down to only a few biscuits, you can't fucking find them! I just don't have anything else to say about this. It's shit. And afterwards we get another clip from the show. It isn't funny. Next we're playing as... Letty? I've got no idea. Okay, after looking into it, I actually do remember this character. Letty was a frog-obsessed granny who was actually scared of real frogs and would viciously attack them whenever she saw them. I think she had about 2 sketches in total? That's the level of desperation we're dealing with here, folks. So Letty's level is WhackAMole. Now you'd think that given how much timing is required to play WhackAMole, that the developers would spend time crafting a decent and responsive engine to make sure that this game is quick and fun. That's what people with brain stems would do. These guys decided it'd be better if there was a 1-second delay to every swing, making it near impossible to hit the bastards! On top of that, you have to change tables in order to smash all the frogs. Didn't think you'd hear me say that today, did you? But it's one of the most broken things I've ever attempted to use. Look at this! The hell is going on? Die, die, die! Okay, frogs are dead. What now? You know, that sums this game up brilliantly. Oh look, more show clips. It isn't funny. Up next is... oh... Emily and Florence. They were the characters designed to make fun of trans people. And their level is... oh no. Well, what do you know? It's my 2 favourite things. Football and transphobia. So in this stage... no. No, you know what? Fuck it. It's football. It's shit. I'm not even going to bother. I'm instead going to explain why this was the worst shit in the whole show. The joke was, haha, look, it's a man dressed as a woman. Isn't that fucking hilarious? Oh look, they're wearing outdated Victorian dresses. One of them has a mustache. It's fucking hilarious. Half of the jokes were literally just them being misgendered by strangers, doctors or the police. Something that, for an actual trans person, isn't fucking funny. And when I say that was the joke, I mean it. That was supposed to be the punchline, them being called he or Mr. or having to use a dead name in a police report. That was supposed to be what people laughed at. You can say, well, they're actually called transvestites in the show, which is a different thing. But that's a piss poor excuse for bigotry. The term transgender wasn't very commonly used in those days, so transvestite, transsexual, and even just straight up the T-slur were all used as umbrella terms for us. And even if, in Little Britain canon, the gender identities of these characters were male, and this was just a thing they did for fun, it doesn't change the fact that they were designed to make people laugh at gender non-conforming individuals. Women with beards, men in women's clothing. This is the shit that held us back as a society. This is the reason so many transgender people are afraid to leave the fucking house. Oh, piss off. And then, another show clip.
Emily Howard? I'm a lady, Emily Howard.
It isn't funny. Up next is Maggie and Judy. Their sketches involved them going to social events, and Maggie would eat something, and upon learning it was made by a minority, would projectile vomit onto everything and everyone in her vicinity. Ooh, just felt a chill in the air. I think it was the ghost of comedy. So this is Pac-Man, right? You line up 3 of the same food items in a row, Maggie says
Gem.
and then they disappear. You know, this isn't actually that bad for a free iPhone game. Except it's a licensed PlayStation 2 game which cost actual money when it was released.
Gem. Gingerbread man. Custard tart.
Once the timer runs out... of course. Lovely. Sorry, Vicar. And then we're forced to watch another clip from the show.
Now, are you sure you want all this stuff burned?
Yeah.
It isn't. This game is making me hate being British. This thing is making me ashamed to be from here. I tell you, if it gets any worse, you can consider me an American. Alright, the final minigame. This time we're playing as gay stereotype Daffy Thomas. Just be something new. I don't care if it's bad, just don't be some sort of rip-off.
3, 2, 1, go!
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I died.
Okay! So you go from ripping something off, to ripping something off, to ripping something off, to fucking ripping yourself off! It's the same. No, in fact it's worse. It's worse than the first minigame. There's less to collect, and you don't even need to do tricks. The only thing that makes it a bit harder is the fact that some of the obstacles move.
We don't want your sort round here.
Are you fucking kidding me? The objective in this game is to not only collect gay magazines, but to run over gay people. For points! Ah! Oh hey, Daffy. You rode past my place. Do you think you could drop me off? No, I'm not even going to try with this one. Fuck this game. Fuck this game. Fuck this game. If you don't mind. I mean, holy shit. How does this even exist? It is beyond a lazy cash-in. Well, it would be if the game actually came out when the show was on, but it didn't. This game is nothing more than a shitty collection of poor excuses. Poor excuses for minigames, poor excuses for graphics and sound, and poor excuses for this show even having a video game in the first place. I just hate it. With all my heart. I mean, the show was bad enough, but that at least had a reason to exist. It made sense. It was a comedy TV show. Those are things. It worked, but this mistake had no purpose to be made. It was nothing more than a desperate cash grab by a company that apparently doesn't even exist. During the making of this review, I actually had a chance to re-watch Little Britain, and it's funnily enough not as bad as I remember. Yes, it's absolutely abysmal in many places, but some of the jokes can be quite funny, especially if it's your first time seeing them, and certain sketches do try to offer something different each time. If you're curious, check out the first season. But please, whatever you do, don't play the game. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go bury this in the woods. Hey, it's the outro. How about that? Thank you everybody for watching my video. It means a lot to me that you stayed until the end too. If you missed my last video on my top 5 games of 2016, I suggest you go check that out here. And if you're interested in drawing, I recently started using my Tumblr again for art, so check the link in the description for that. My question of the day is, what is your favourite comedy? It can be a TV show, movie, or even a YouTuber. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And also, you can follow me on Twitter @TheTransHeel. I've been MayRey, and I'll see you all next time.
I've said it before, Vicar, and I say it again. What that boy needs is a nice big cock up his arse.